Hi, hello everyone. Myself Sujan, studying in Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, ISC 6M. Today, I gonna give some information about non-conventional energy resources. Before going into the depth of the energy resources, let us see what and all the contents we gonna see today around this session. First, I gonna give a brief introduction to what is conventional energy, what are the basic energy resources, and how they are being classified, and what are their advantages and disadvantages. And let's go to the introduction. The term energy refers to a capacity or a ability to do work. As we know, if work is completely done, there is some energy used. So, to do any kind of work, we need energy. The kinetic energy and the energies that are used to complete the work are kinetic energy, electrical energy, thermal energy, potential energy, chemical energy, nuclear energy, and other types of energy exist. All the sources of energy are related to motion. Yes, and kinetic energy, for example, is connected with any moving body or object. Okay, the kinetic energy we can take a day-to-day life as example as a v, as a bus, car. Those are all as a uh, kinetic energy examples. Energy according to the principle of conservation of energy. Conversion Conservation of energy, or the fundamental rule of the thermodynamics, cannot be generated or destroyed, but can only be transformed from one form to another form. And here one point, when one form of energy is transferred to another form of energy, there is a loss of some energy. We should be knowing that, and then on that calculating that loss of energy, we should find which form of energy can be converted into which form without losing that much energy in between. Okay, so next our topic has been arrived: non-conventional energy resource. Before going into non-conventional energy resource, let us see what are the basic resources. Okay, basic resources are solar energy, geothermal energy, wind energy, biomass energy, hydropower plant energy, tidal energy. Okay, and base, and we can tell as a natural gas, electricity, those and all as also a form of energies. But on those basis of their resources and then availability, it has been considered into two types: conventional energy and non-conventional energy. Conventional energy are that one are commonly used and generally non-renewable sources of the energy which are being used since a long time. These conventional energy are a very less chance of causing pollution, and when it comes to non-conventional energy, it can't be uh, it can produce a pollution much more pollution, so it may cause damage to the environment. Okay, let us see the non-conventional energy resource. The sun is an ultimate resource of our planet, and all other examples that are mentioned above are obtained either directly or indirectly from the sun. For example, the wind energy that we obtain from the winds, and the winds are produced by the unequal heating of two different regions of the surface of the earth. Okay, in the line is telling that sun is a major resource of an energy, and all other energies are being derived from it. And the given example is an wind energy, where to form a wind energy, the two unequal heating of a different region forms in the earth that causes an wind energy. Okay, thus we can use this source of energy till our earth receives light from the sun, which is there from the next million of the years. This is also reason why non-conventional energy resources of energy are called as a renewable resource of energy, as every day these engines are getting renewed in nature. Okay, as I mentioned above in the definitions of convention and non-convention, I have said you that convention is non-renewable and non-convention is renewable. So now you will be getting an idea why I have told that. Okay, non-conventional energy resources, often as renewable sources of energy or energy sources that are continuously renewed by natural process. Okay, and now first and a better example for the solar energy is solar energy. The sun is the biggest source of energy that we have. It's radiating very high energy constantly for very long time and will continue to do so. The energy we obtain from the sun is called as a solar energy. Solar energy can be harnessed using several devices like solar cooker and a solar heater and solar heater and then we can use a solar light also. So now let us take a example like solar cooker. We all know that a black surface absorbs most of the energy that fall on it and reflect back very less amount of it. Okay, now you'll be hearing that don't wear black dress in summer. It will be more heat and it will feel uncomfortable. The reason is as the black surface absorbs the most energy from that uh, most energy from the most reflecting rays from the sun and it forms an heat more. The principle used by solar cooker and solar water heater. In addition to it, some solar cooker use heater to focus the sun rays at a particular point for more heating. Also, cookers are covered with a sun glass plate. Can you guess why? Can you guess? It's because of greenhouse effect as the glass plate traps the sun heat inside the cooker. Okay, this is how the solar cooker works. And if anything is introduced into or if anything is derived, it will be having some advantages and disadvantages. Let us see about what are the disadvantages of the solar cooker. The solar cooker can only function when there is a sun heat. It cannot store the solar energy for the reuse. And another advantages is we can stop using that for fossil fuels for the like we use kerosene for cooking and all. Instead of that we can use this also. And now let us take another example, solar panel. The disadvantages of solar cooker is overcome by the use of the solar panel. A solar panel is a collection of solar cells. A single cell can produce a voltage of about 0 to 5 to 0.9 volt and can produce energy of 1.5 watt. Okay. Now let us take another example, wind energy. Wind energy describe the process by which wind is used to generate electricity. As the wind increase power output increases up the maximum output of the particular turbine. Wind farms Wind farms prefer areas where winds are strong and constant. These are generally located at the high altitudes. Wind turbines use wind to make electricity. There is no pollution cause or no fossil fuels are burned to generate electricity in the wind energy resources. And then the one of the India's largest windmill farm is in Kanyakumari, which generates 38 watt of electric 380 milliwatt of electricity. And now another example is biomass energy. First, understand what is biomass. The waste and the dead remain of living animal plants is called as a biomass. They contain carbon compounds. The chemical energy stored them is called a biomass energy. This form of energy being used by humans from very early ages. I said you in earlier the biomass is a better example like gobar gas. In early days in villages they used to do this. They used to get light gas by the biomass energy only by using that gobar gas technique. Human burn wood and cattle dung for cooking for a very long time and it is continuing still till now. But this method is not very beneficial as it releases harmful gases in the atmosphere. A much more disadvantageous and efficient use of biomass is the production of the biogas from biomass. The biogas is produced by the decomposition of biomass in the absence of oxygen. Biogas contain nearly 60% of methane and the rest is carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. Biogas is produced in a large dome-shaped plant called as a biogas plant. In India, however, these plants are called as gobar gas. plant because the main item for the which biogas is produced is cow dung. And another example is tidal energy. Before knowing what is tidal energy, first let us understand what are tides. Tides are the periodic movements of the ocean waters due to the gravitational force of the moon and the sun. Tides are of two types. High tides, example, the rise of water, and low tides, that is the fall in the level of water. Since it is caused due to the sun and the moon gravitational effect, the tidal energy is called as non-renewable energy. Tidal energy is the energy possessed by the uh, possessed by the rise and the fall of water during the high and low tides. The tidal energy can be processed to electricity by building dams across the narrow opening of the sea. And another example is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is the energy produced when one heavy nuclei splits into two light nuclei, or two light nuclei fuses to one heavy nucleus, producing enormous amount of energy in the form of energy. Nuclear reactions are of two types. One is nuclear fission, another one is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fission, the process in which one heavy nucleus splits into two light nuclei, producing large amount of energy and neutrons along with it. Okay, I think this line can be easily understood. The process in which one heavy nuclei splits into two light nuclei, producing large amount of energy and neutrons along with it. And nuclear fusion, the process in which two nuclear fuses into one heavy nucleus at a very high temperature and pressure, producing a large amount of energy. Okay, it's easily understandable, where nuclear fission and fusion are 1 by n 1 ratio it is. Geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is the heat energy that we get from hot rocks present in the earth crust. So geothermal wells release greenhouse gases trapped within the earth, but these emissions are much lower per energy unit than the fossil fuels. The energy generally involve low running costs since it saves 80% on the fossil fuels. Due to this, there is an increase in the use of geothermal energy. It helps in reducing global warming and does not create any kind of pollutions. Advantages and disadvantages of non-conventional energy. Now let us see the advantages. Renewable and less expensive. Most non-conventional resources are cheaper and can be reused as compared to non-conventional resources. Okay, we can understand that most non-conventional resources are cheaper and can be reused. As it can be reused, it will be very less expense in the cost. And another one is environmental friendly. As it is reused, it can reduce the CO2 emission, which causes less pollution and harm to the environment. Also, it is inexhaustible. Requires less maintenance, because the less maintenance it remains less expensive, and it also produces a sustainable environment to live in. Long term and future benefits. It strengthens the country's energy security, and it is mostly imported free. It boosts the sustainability. There is a vast scope and opportunity in the field for research in science and the geology. Disadvantages. Inconsistent and unreliable supply. Geothermal plants deplete their energy resource, and it becomes unpredictable in the case of solar energy. The energy needed to be stored so that the electricity can be produced. Certain risk. Windmill blades sometimes become harmful and smart, harming various species like birds, bats, and insects. Certain solar energy creates extreme hot zones in the environment. Radioactive waste. Nuclear energy generates radioactive waste from radioactive materials. Harms nature habitats. Harnessing tidal energy destroys natural habitats and harms the wild animals. Now let us see what's the conclusion of the overall the non-conventional what we read till now. As the fossil fuels are one of the most biggest pollutants on the planet, the demand for the non-conventional energy is developing. These sources not only integrate instigate greenhouse effect but also reduce the dependence on oil and gas. Therefore, in order to meet the energy demand of the increasing pollution, the scientists are developing methods for up to use tap into various non-conventional sources of energy which are not only renewable but also non-polluting. Finally, thank you. Please do subscribe and like my video. Based on your likes and views, my marks will be awarded. Thank you one and all.